Well, hi, and welcome to another LRCC Soundbite. Why are there so many churches? That's a question I was asked recently. Not just of the same type, but of different types. Even if you walk around a fairly small village, you might see a Church of England church, a Catholic church, a Methodist church, a Baptist church. The Salvation Army band might turn up at the supermarket at Christmas. This is only the tip of the iceberg. What do they all mean? Why are they there? Because surely if Christianity is a single faith, believing in Jesus and trusting him as the only way to get back into relationship with God, then isn't there just one set of teaching and we'd all do it the same? I guess we humans have always looked for our own way of doing things. You know, even in the Bible, there are stories of different groups of Christians after Jesus had gone, following the teaching of different leaders rather than a single controlled way. And the sort of top leadership, the apostles at the time, saying, no, you're not following a person, you're following Jesus. So to give you my thoughts on this for today, I'll talk a little bit about context first. See, back in Bible times, when the church was just getting started, we read about debates that the early leaders had about how the background people had impacted on how they followed Jesus' teachings. Imagine, there was one group, the Jews. Jesus was one of them. They'd started following the teachings of a guy called Moses for thousands and thousands of years. And Jesus didn't tell them to go and worship a different God or throw away that rich culture, that rich history. What he told them was that how everything in history pointed to a new freedom within their religion. The ability for everyone to have direct access to God rather than having to go through the old rituals and the priests. As a result, a lot of the shape of their worship and their way of recognising and being church drew on their old ways, and it merged and created something new. Now, at the same time as that was happening, the message of Jesus was spreading to the nations around. The Greeks, the Romans, the Indians, the Persians, the list goes on. Without Jewish history, these people drew on their own identities and shaped their churches their way, within the teachings of Jesus, but without the Judaism. Instead, they reconciled themselves, their culture, their history, which Jesus had said was important, within his teaching. Now, this kind of thing continued for a couple of hundred years or so, until a meeting of Christian leaders was held in about 325 AD. Those leaders started defining the faith that all Christians could agree on. It was finally finished in 381 AD, when it was amended slightly to clarify some points and take some things out that had been a real problem in 325 but weren't a problem anymore. And it remains to this day. It's called the Nicene Creed. It's the measure by which a particular church or group is defined as being Christian. Simply put, if you fully sign up to that short statement, then we're good. I'm proud to call you my brothers and sisters in Jesus. So today we have all these different churches, usually set up to meet a very specific need, but all signing up to the same basic statement of belief. Let me give you an example. If you wanted to set up a church to meet the needs of people with problems with alcoholism, then don't start serving wine as part of your worship. Doesn't make sense. Or let's take a debate about the Bible. Christenings or baptisms, you may be aware of them, very often done with babies, but not necessarily can be done with adults. Christening and baptism is the same thing by two different names. All Christians agree that it's important, but this debate about adults or children is important to some people. There are bits of the Bible that suggest you need to be old enough to believe for yourself and make your own decision. Conversely, there are bits that suggest a whole household would be baptised at the same time, including children and infants. So different churches adopt different approaches. The most important thing, though, is that we love God and we adopt that statement of belief, the creed. That's what allowed me to be brought up in a Methodist church, attend an Assemblies of God church at university. I'm now ordained in the Church of England, and a few weeks ago I was speaking to my brothers and sisters in a Baptist church. It can be confusing, even to people in the church. If you have specific questions about LRCC, which looks very different to what you might have thought of as church, do get in touch. We'd love to explain more to you. We're about to start something new in a couple of weeks' time as well. Messy Church. It's running at Ravenswood Primary School. Again, get in touch if you want to know more, or head to the website, find the link to book your place. It's free, but it's important we know who's coming so we can make sure there's enough food for everyone. That's it from me for this week. So until next time, God bless you.